Lena woke up that morning to the bright sunlight streaming through her bedroom window. The warm rays fell across her small room, lighting up her collection of books and little toys neatly arranged on the shelves. She rubbed her eyes and stretched, excited because today was going to be a special day. She had planned to pick flowers from the small garden behind her house and bring them to the park. Lena loved flowers. Their colors, their gentle fragrance, and the way they swayed with the breeze made her feel happy. Bruno, her German shepherd, lay at the foot of her bed, his head resting on his paws. His coat shone in the morning light, a mixture of golden brown and black, and his eyes were warm and alert. Bruno was not just a pet. He was Lena's best friend, her protector, and her companion on every adventure. When Lena moved toward the door, Bruno stood up instantly, his tail wagging, and followed her closely. "Good morning, Bruno," Lena said, smiling as she tied her shoes. She carried a small wicker basket, ready to fill it with fresh flowers. Bruno sniffed the air and gave a soft bark, as if saying, "I am ready, Lena." Together, they stepped out into the sunny morning, the birds chirping happily in the trees and the gentle wind rustling the leaves. The garden was Lena's favorite place. It was small but full of life. Bright red roses, yellow sunflowers, delicate daisies, and pink tulips grew in neat little rows. Lena knelt down carefully, making sure not to crush any of the plants. She plucked a few flowers here and there, placing them gently in her basket. Bruno wandered nearby, sniffing the flowers and keeping an eye on the surroundings. He liked the garden too, and he liked being close to Lena, especially when she was so happy. As Lena walked toward the park with her basket of flowers, the neighborhood looked peaceful and quiet. The sun shone warmly and the birds sang in the trees. Children played on the sidewalks, some riding bikes, others chasing each other with laughter filling the air. Lena waved at a few of them, her smile bright and cheerful. She loved this part of town because it always felt safe and friendly. But suddenly a shadow fell across the path in front of her. Lena looked up and saw a group of older kids blocking her way. They had mean expressions on their faces, and the way they stood suggested they wanted to scare her. Lena's heart started to beat faster. She recognized them. They were bullies from the neighborhood who liked to tease younger children. She had seen them before, laughing and pushing smaller kids around. "Hey, little girl," one of them called out, his voice rough. "What are you carrying there, flowers? You look so silly." Lena tried to move past them, but one of the bullies stepped forward and shoved her lightly. She stumbled, almost losing her balance. Her basket tipped and flowers tumbled onto the sidewalk. Bruno growled low in his throat, a warning sound that made the bullies glance at the large dog beside her. Bruno's eyes were sharp and his stance was strong and protective. Lena picked up the flowers quickly, her hands trembling. She whispered to Bruno, "Stay calm, Bruno, don't scare them too much." But she knew her dog was loyal and brave. He would do anything to keep her safe. The bullies laughed, thinking it was just a small dog and a small girl. "Are you afraid of a little dog?" one of them said, trying to seem confident. Another boy kicked a flower gently on the ground and smirked at Lena. "Come on, little girl. Give us the basket. Let's see what you got." Bruno stepped closer to Lena, his body tense and ready. His growl grew louder, a deep sound that made the bullies pause. For a moment, they looked unsure. They had not expected the dog to react this way. Bruno did not bark wildly or jump at them. He simply stood firm, showing that he was serious and ready to protect Lena. Lena took a deep breath, trying to stay calm. She looked at Bruno and felt a wave of comfort. She knew that she was not alone. Her dog was strong, loyal, and brave. Together, they could face this situation. One of the bullies, a tall boy with a red cap, stepped closer and tried to grab Lena's basket. Bruno growled and moved forward slightly, his teeth visible but not aggressive. The boy froze. He did not expect the dog to stand its ground so firmly. "Back off," Lena said, her voice steady now. She felt a new courage rising inside her. She had always been a careful and kind girl, but she also knew when to stand up for herself. Bruno's presence gave her strength. The bullies hesitated, glancing at each other, unsure of what to do. Bruno circled the group slowly, his eyes never leaving the bullies. He wanted them to understand that he was serious. The sound of his growl, combined with his size and strength, was enough to make the older kids nervous. They had thought this would be an easy prank, but now they realized they might have underestimated Lena and her dog. Lena picked up the basket and took a step forward, signaling Bruno to stay close. The bullies took a step back. Lena's small hand gripped the handle tightly, but she did not run. She knew running might provoke them. She kept walking, keeping Bruno between herself and the bullies. One of the bullies tried to laugh and act brave, but his voice trembled slightly. "It's just a dog. You think a dog can scare us?" he said, though he did not move forward. Bruno's eyes locked onto him, and the dog's posture made it clear that he would protect Lena without hesitation. The tension grew for a few moments. Birds in the nearby trees stopped singing for a moment, as if they sensed the seriousness of the situation. Lena's heart pounded, but she kept her steps steady. She could feel Bruno's confidence and loyalty, and that gave her courage. Finally, the bullies muttered to each other. They realized that Lena was not an easy target, and Bruno was not an ordinary dog. They had made a mistake by approaching her. Without another word, they turned and walked away, their confidence gone. Lena watched them leave, and she felt relief wash over her. Bruno wagged his tail slightly as if to say, "It's okay now. I've got you." Lena knelt down and hugged him tightly. "Thank you, Bruno. You are the best friend I could ever have," she said softly. Bruno licked her cheek gently, happy that she was safe. The sun continued to shine warmly and the birds began singing again. Lena looked at her basket of flowers, now a little messy from the scuffle, but still beautiful. She smiled and decided to continue her walk to the park. Bruno stayed close by, alert but calm. Together they moved forward, knowing that they could face any challenge as long as they had each other. Lena learned that day that courage comes in many forms. It is not always about being the biggest or the strongest. Sometimes courage is standing firm with a loyal friend beside you. Bruno had shown her that loyalty and bravery could make a small girl feel safe, confident, and strong. As they walked toward the park, Lena and Bruno passed neighbors who waved at them. Some of them had seen the bullies leave and smiled at Lena, impressed by her and her dog's courage. Lena felt proud not because she had scared the bullies, but because she had trusted her friend and stayed calm in a difficult situation. By the time they reached the park, the flowers in Lena's basket were arranged again, and her smile had returned. Bruno sat by her side, enjoying the warm sun and the gentle breeze. Lena knew that today was just one of many adventures they would have together, and with Bruno by her side, she felt ready for anything. The park was full of children playing, and Lena joined a few of them, sharing her flowers and enjoying the afternoon. She kept a careful eye on Bruno, who remained alert but friendly, ensuring that no harm would come to her or anyone else. Lena realized that true friendship and courage could change even the scariest moments into happy memories. And so, Lena and Bruno's day continued peacefully, full of laughter, flowers, and the warm sunshine that made the world seem like a safe and wonderful place. After the encounter on the sidewalk, Lena and Bruno continued their walk toward the park. Lena held her basket of flowers carefully, smiling as she felt the soft breeze on her face. Bruno walked closely beside her, his ears moving with every sound. He had stayed calm when the bullies had approached, but he remained alert. Lena trusted him completely. She knew that if any trouble came their way, Bruno would protect her without hesitation. The park was not far from their home. As Lena approached the entrance, she noticed children playing on the swings, running along the grass and laughing with joy. The bright green trees provided shade, and the sun highlighted the colorful flowers that grew along the park's pathways. Lena felt a sense of peace. She loved this park because it was a place where she could feel free, happy, and safe. Bruno sniffed the grass, clearly enjoying the open space, but his eyes stayed watchful. As Lena wandered along a path lined with daisies and tulips, she suddenly felt a cold sense of unease. From the corner of her eye, she saw the group of bullies from earlier. They had not disappeared entirely. Instead, they were walking slowly, watching her from a distance. Lena's heart began to beat faster. She did not panic because she had Bruno by her side, but she knew she needed to be careful. One of the bullies, the boy with the red cap, stepped forward and called out, "Hey, little girl, you think you can just walk away? Give us those flowers." He tried to sound confident, but Lena noticed that his voice wavered slightly. Bruno growled softly, his deep and steady sound warning the bullies not to come closer. Lena stopped walking and knelt down slightly, placing her hand gently on Bruno's head. "Stay calm, Bruno, just watch them," she whispered. Bruno's ears perked up and he sat down, keeping his eyes fixed on the bullies. He was ready to act if needed, but he waited for Lena's signal. The bullies approached slowly, thinking they could intimidate her. "Come on," one of them said. "It's just a dog. It won't do anything. They laughed, trying to appear brave, but the nervous glances they exchanged betrayed their doubt. Bruno did not move from his position, but the low, steady growl from his throat made it clear that he would not let them get close to Lena. Lena stood up, holding her basket firmly. She looked directly at the bullies and spoke with a calm voice. "Please leave me alone. I don't want any trouble. You can go play somewhere else." Her words were polite but firm. She was not shouting or running away. She knew that standing her ground with Bruno beside her would make them think twice. The bullies hesitated. They had expected an easy scare, but Lena's calm courage, combined with Bruno's protective presence, made them pause. The boy with the red cap took a step closer and reached for the basket. Bruno immediately rose to his feet, his growl growing louder and more commanding. The other bullies froze, unsure of what to do. One of the younger bullies, a small boy with glasses, tripped slightly over a flower lying on the ground. Bruno barked sharply, a single loud bark that echoed through the park. The sound startled the small boy and he stumbled backward, landing softly on the grass. The other bullies looked at each other nervously. This was not how they had planned their encounter. They wanted to tease a small girl, not deal with a large, alert, and protective dog. Lena took a careful step forward, keeping her hand on Bruno's back to signal him to stay calm. "Please go away," she said again, her voice steady. She could see the hesitation in the bully's eyes. Bruno's presence made them think twice about their actions. He was not just a dog. He was a loyal and brave companion who would do anything to protect her. The boy with the red cap tried to act brave. "It's just a dog. You can't scare us, little girl," he said. His words were meant to sound confident, but the way he shifted from foot to foot betrayed his fear. Bruno growled again, showing his teeth just slightly, enough to let the bullies know that he was serious. Lena knew she had to remain calm. She picked up a flower that had fallen from her basket and held it out gently. "I don't want to fight. You can leave now and everything will be fine." Her words were kind, but they carried courage. The bullies looked at her and then at Bruno. They realized that Lena was not afraid and that Bruno would not let anyone harm her. One by one, the bullies began to step back. The boy with glasses whispered something to the others. They did not argue or challenge Lena anymore. Their confidence had faded, replaced by unease and respect. Bruno wagged his tail slightly but stayed alert, ready to act if needed. Lena felt her heart relax. She had handled the situation without anger or running, relying on her courage and Bruno's support. The tallest bully, the one with the red cap, muttered, "Let's go. This is not worth it." The others nodded and they walked away slowly, glancing back nervously at Bruno. Lena watched them leave, her breathing steady now. Bruno sat down beside her, giving a soft sigh of relief. Lena knelt down and hugged him tightly. "Thank you, Bruno. You protected me so well," she whispered. Bruno licked her cheek, happy that she was safe. After the bullies left, Lena decided to take a different path through the park. She wanted to enjoy the flowers and the children playing without any more interruptions. She and Bruno walked past the swings where a group of younger children waved at her. Lena smiled and waved back. She felt proud, not because she had scared the bullies, but because she had stayed calm and handled the situation wisely. Bruno sniffed the grass along the path, occasionally looking up at Lena. He was always alert, always loyal. Lena knew that no matter what challenges came their way, they would face them together. She picked a few more flowers along the path, arranging them carefully in her basket. The colors were bright and their fragrance filled the air, making the park feel even more peaceful. As they continued walking, Lena noticed an elderly neighbor sitting on a bench. She waved at him and he smiled warmly. "Hello, Lena. Hello, Bruno. You both look happy today," he said. Lena nodded and waved again. "We are happy. We are just enjoying the park," she said. Bruno sat quietly by her side, his tail wagging gently. The sunlight grew warmer as the afternoon progressed. Lena felt a sense of confidence growing inside her. She realized that courage did not always mean fighting. Sometimes it meant standing firm, trusting a friend and facing challenges calmly. Bruno had shown her that loyalty and bravery came in many forms, and together, they were a strong team. Suddenly, Lena heard laughter coming from the other side of the park. Some children were chasing each other near the fountain. She decided to join them, holding her basket of flowers carefully. Bruno followed closely, staying alert but friendly. The children welcomed her, and Lena shared a few flowers with them. The park was full of happiness and energy, and Lena felt safe and included. As the sun began to move lower in the sky, Lena and Bruno sat on a bench to rest. She looked at the flowers in her basket and smiled. Despite the earlier encounter with the bullies, she had enjoyed the day. She realized that challenges could happen, but they could be handled with courage, patience, and support from a loyal friend. Bruno lay down beside her, resting his head on her lap. Lena gently stroked his fur, feeling comforted and proud. In the distance, the bullies had disappeared and the park returned to its peaceful rhythm. Lena knew that the encounter had taught her something important. She learned that fear could be managed with calmness, and that friends, whether human or animal, could give strength beyond what words could describe. The birds sang again. The wind rustled through the trees and the sunlight painted a golden glow across the park. Lena and Bruno stayed a little longer, enjoying the serenity. She whispered to Bruno, "We make a good team. I am glad you are with me." Bruno wagged his tail, happy to hear her voice, and rested quietly beside her. By the time Lena decided to head home, the park had grown quieter. The children had gone and the soft shadows of the trees stretched across the grass. Lena held her basket of flowers, now even more precious after the day's events. She knew that with Bruno by her side, she could face anything, and the world felt safe and welcoming once again. Walking back toward home, Lena felt proud of herself and grateful for Bruno's loyalty. She realized that bravery was not always loud or aggressive. Sometimes it was calm, steady, and protective, just like Bruno. Together, they had turned a frightening situation into a moment of courage and learning. Lena and Bruno reached their home as the sun began to dip toward the horizon. She placed her basket of flowers on the table, and Bruno lay down by the door, content and alert. Lena smiled, knowing that tomorrow would bring new adventures, but she felt ready for anything as long as Bruno was with her. That day, Lena learned that courage, loyalty, and friendship were more powerful than fear. And Bruno, her brave and loving companion, had taught her that strength comes in many forms. Together they were unstoppable. The next morning, Lena woke up early, excited to spend another sunny day outside. Bruno was already awake, sitting at the foot of her bed and wagging his tail. His eyes were full of alertness and warmth, ready for whatever adventure awaited. Lena stretched and smiled at her loyal companion. "Good morning, Bruno. Are you ready for another day?" she asked. Bruno barked softly as if answering, "Always ready." After a quick breakfast, Lena put on her shoes and grabbed her small wicker basket. Today, she planned to explore the far side of the park where she had never gone before. The flowers there were said to be even more colorful, and Lena could not wait to see them. Bruno followed closely, his tail wagging as they stepped outside into the fresh morning air. The neighborhood looked calm and peaceful. Birds chirped from the trees and the soft breeze carried the scent of flowers from the nearby gardens. Lena held her basket tightly, and Bruno stayed beside her, his eyes scanning their surroundings. He had learned from yesterday that caution was important, especially when bullies might be around. Lena trusted him completely. Together they felt strong and confident. As they walked toward the park, Lena noticed a few children playing with a ball. She waved and they waved back. Bruno sniffed the grass along the path, enjoying the smells and sounds of the morning. Everything seemed calm, and Lena thought it would be a perfect day. However, when they reached the far side of the park, the mood changed. Lena noticed movement near the bushes at the edge of the trees. Two of the same bullies from yesterday were hiding there, watching her carefully. They had obviously not forgotten their encounter and seemed to be planning something. Lena's heart began to beat faster, but she stayed calm. She knew Bruno would protect her. The taller bully, the one with the red cap, stepped forward from the bushes, blocking Lena's path. "Well, look who we have here," he said. His voice tried to sound confident, but Lena noticed a flicker of nervousness. The other bully, a smaller boy, stepped beside him. "We thought we could get you yesterday, but you had that big dog. Let's see what happens today," he said, smirking. Bruno immediately stepped in front of Lena, his body tense and his growl low and warning. Lena held onto her basket tightly. "Please leave us alone," she said firmly. "I don't want any trouble." She stood tall, even though she felt a little scared. Her voice was calm, and Bruno's presence gave her courage. The bullies laughed, thinking that Lena's calmness was weakness. "It's just a little girl and a dog," the taller boy said. "Come on, what can you do?" He took a step closer, trying to grab the basket. Bruno growled louder, his sharp teeth showing slightly. The bullies hesitated. They had forgotten that Bruno was not just a dog. He was brave, loyal, and protective. Lena took a deep breath. "Bruno, stay calm, but protect me," she whispered. Bruno's ears perked up, and he positioned himself between Lena and the bullies. His growl deepened and his stance showed strength and readiness. The bullies looked at each other, suddenly unsure. This was no longer an easy prank. The smaller bully reached out toward the basket, but Bruno snapped his head forward, stopping the boy with a warning. The boy yelped and pulled back, surprised by Bruno's speed and power. Lena saw the fear in their eyes. She knew that the bullies had made a mistake by thinking she was alone or defenseless, you see, Lena said calmly. "Bruno will not let anyone hurt me. You should leave now." Her voice was soft but firm. Bruno circled the bullies slowly, his eyes never leaving them. The sound of his growl, steady and strong, filled the air. The bullies shifted nervously, realizing that Lena was not afraid and that Bruno would not back down. One of the bullies tripped over a branch on the ground. Bruno barked loudly, the sound echoing through the park. The startled boy fell to the grass, and the taller bully's confident expression faltered. He looked at his friend and then at Lena and Bruno. "Maybe we should go," he muttered. The other boy nodded quickly. They had underestimated the courage of a small girl and her loyal dog. Lena held her basket close, stepping forward carefully. "Please leave. There is no reason to fight. You can go home now," she said. Bruno sat down but kept his eyes fixed on the bullies. His tail did not wag. He remained alert and ready. The bullies realized that any sudden move could provoke him. After a few tense moments, the bullies backed away slowly. The taller one muttered, "This is not worth it," and they began to walk away toward the trees at the edge of the park. Lena watched them, making sure they were gone before relaxing. Bruno gave a soft bark as if saying everything was safe now. Lena knelt down and hugged him tightly. "Thank you, Bruno, you are amazing," she whispered. Bruno licked her cheek gently, happy to know she was safe. Lena decided to continue her walk through the park, exploring the far side where the flowers were said to be most beautiful. The air smelled sweet with blooming plants, and the soft grass felt pleasant under her feet. Bruno stayed close, sniffing the flowers and keeping an eye on every movement. Lena felt peaceful, knowing that no matter what happened, she was not alone. She found a small clearing filled with wildflowers of every color. Red, yellow, blue, and pink flowers covered the ground like a soft carpet. Bees buzzed gently from flower to flower, and butterflies danced in the sunlight. Lena picked some flowers carefully, arranging them neatly in her basket. Bruno sniffed nearby, making sure no one approached too closely. Suddenly, a group of younger children ran into the clearing, laughing and playing tag. Lena smiled and waved. She shared a few flowers with them, making them happy. The children were friendly and curious about Bruno, who wagged his tail gently and allowed them to pet him carefully. Lena enjoyed watching them play, feeling safe and proud of her loyal companion. As the day went on, Lena and Bruno walked along the paths of the park, enjoying the sun and the peaceful atmosphere. Lena knew that the bullies might try again, but she felt confident now. She had learned that courage was not about being strong or loud. It was about staying calm, trusting friends, and standing firm when needed. Bruno had shown her that bravery could be quiet, steady, and protective. Later, as the sun began to dip toward the horizon, Lena and Bruno sat under a large oak tree, taking a rest. She looked at her basket filled with flowers and smiled. "We had quite an adventure today, Bruno," she said softly. Bruno lay down beside her, resting his head on her lap. He gave a contented sigh, happy to be with Lena. Lena realized that each day brought new challenges, but with patience, calmness, and a loyal friend, she could face them all. The park had taught her that courage and loyalty were stronger than fear. Bruno had shown her that even the smallest girl could feel safe when she had someone who cared for her and protected her. As they headed back home, the park quieted down. The birds chirped softly, the flowers swayed gently in the breeze, and the sunlight created golden patterns on the ground. Lena held her basket close, feeling proud and confident. She had faced the bullies again without panic, and Bruno had stayed by her side every step of the way. When they reached their street, neighbors smiled and waved at Lena and Bruno. Some of them had heard about the earlier encounters and admired their courage. Lena waved back, feeling happy and safe. Bruno walked beside her, calm and loyal, his ears moving at every sound. Lena knew that no matter what happened in the future, she could face it with courage and trust in her loyal companion. By the time they reached home, the sun was low in the sky. Lena placed her basket of flowers carefully on the table, arranging them neatly. Bruno lay down by the door, alert but relaxed. Lena looked at him and whispered, "We make a good team. I am glad you are with me." Bruno wagged his tail gently, happy to hear her voice, and rested quietly, knowing that he had done his job. That evening, Lena thought about the day. She learned that courage came in many forms, from standing firm to trusting a loyal friend. Bruno had taught her that loyalty, protection, and calm bravery could overcome fear. She felt proud of herself and grateful for her companion. Together they were ready for any challenge that might come next. The stars began to appear in the sky as Lena went to bed. Bruno curled up at the foot of her bed, his eyes alert even as he rested. Lena closed her eyes, feeling safe, confident, and happy. She knew that tomorrow would bring new adventures, but she felt ready for them. With Bruno by her side, she could face anything, and no bully would ever make her feel afraid again. The following afternoon, Lena woke up feeling happy and curious. She had planned to visit the park again, hoping to pick more flowers for her mother. Bruno, her loyal German shepherd, was already awake, sitting by the window and watching the street. His eyes were sharp, his ears moving with every small sound. Lena smiled at him. "Good morning, Bruno. Are you ready for another adventure?" she asked. Bruno barked softly, wagging his tail as if saying, "Always ready." After breakfast, Lena put on her shoes and carried her small wicker basket. She stepped outside and Bruno followed closely. The morning sun bathed the street in warmth. The flowers in the neighborhood garden seemed brighter, and the gentle breeze carried the scent of fresh blooms. Lena held her basket tightly and Bruno walked beside her, alert and watchful. She felt confident with her loyal friend by her side. As they reached the park, Lena noticed that it was quieter than usual. The swings moved gently with the breeze, and the soft sound of leaves rustling filled the air. She smiled, thinking it would be the perfect day for picking flowers. Bruno sniffed along the paths, enjoying the smells of grass and flowers, but his eyes were attentive, scanning the park for any signs of trouble. Suddenly, from behind a large tree near the entrance, the bullies appeared again. This time their expressions were serious. They had clearly planned something, and they walked slowly toward Lena, blocking her path. Lena's heart raced, but she did not panic. She knew that Bruno would protect her, and she had learned from the previous encounters that staying calm was the key. The tallest bully, the one with the red cap, stepped forward. "Hey, little girl," he said. "You thought you could scare us yesterday? Today we are going to get those flowers." His voice tried to sound confident, but Lena noticed a flicker of doubt in his eyes. The smaller boy stood beside him, looking nervous but determined. Bruno immediately stepped in front of Lena, his body tense, and his deep growl filled the quiet park. Lena held her basket tightly and took a step forward. "Please leave us alone," she said firmly. "I don't want any trouble. You can go home now." Bruno stayed alert, his eyes never leaving the bullies. His stance was strong, showing that he was ready to act if necessary. The bullies laughed at first, thinking they could intimidate Lena. "It's just a girl and a dog," the taller boy said. "You think you can stop us?" He stepped closer, reaching for the basket. Bruno growled louder, a deep and commanding sound that made the boys freeze. Lena took a deep breath and held her ground. "Bruno, stay calm, but be ready," she whispered. Bruno's ears perked up, and he positioned himself firmly between Lena and the bullies. The growl in his throat was steady and warning, showing that he would not allow anyone to harm her. The smaller bully tried to grab the basket again. Bruno snapped his head forward, barking loudly and showing his teeth just enough to warn him. The boy yelped in surprise and stepped back. Lena's heart pounded, but she remained calm. She could see that the bullies were starting to realize that she was not afraid, and Bruno would not back down. The taller bully muttered, "It's just a dog. It won't hurt us." He tried to act confident, but his hands shook slightly. Bruno barked again, louder this time, making the boy take an involuntary step back. Lena's calm voice carried authority. "You need to leave." "Now?" she said firmly. Bruno's eyes locked on the bullies, his growl never stopping, showing complete readiness. The bullies glanced at each other. They had underestimated Lena and Bruno. The tall boy took a step forward, trying one last time to appear brave. But Bruno moved slightly, growling low and deep. The boy froze. He realized that any sudden move could provoke the dog. Suddenly, the smaller bully tripped over a branch lying on the ground. Bruno barked sharply, a single loud bark that echoed through the park. The boy fell forward, landing softly on the grass. The taller bully's confident expression faltered, and he looked at his friend, clearly unsure about what to do next. Lena stepped forward slightly, holding her basket. "Please leave now. You do not need to be here. You are only hurting yourselves," she said. Bruno circled the bullies slowly, his eyes fixed on them. The sound of his growl and the firmness of his stance made the bullies realize they could not win. They had not only faced a brave girl but also a loyal and protective dog. The taller boy finally muttered, "Let's go." "This is not worth it." The smaller bully nodded quickly. They began to walk away, glancing back nervously at Bruno. Lena watched carefully, making sure they left the park before relaxing. Bruno gave a soft bark, signaling that everything was safe now. Lena knelt down and hugged him tightly. "Thank you, Bruno. You saved the day again," she whispered. Bruno licked her cheek gently, happy that she was safe. After the bullies left, Lena decided to explore the far side of the park. The flowers there were said to be more colorful, and she was excited to see them. She and Bruno walked carefully, enjoying the warm sunlight and the fresh air. The park was peaceful again, and Lena felt a sense of calm and happiness. The clearing she reached was filled with wild flowers of all colors. Red, yellow, blue, and pink flowers covered the ground, and butterflies danced gently in the sunlight. Lena picked flowers carefully, arranging them neatly in her basket. Bruno stayed nearby, alert but calm, enjoying the open space and the gentle sounds of nature. Some children from the park approached, curious about the flowers and Bruno. Lena shared a few blooms with them, and the children smiled, happy to receive the beautiful gifts. Bruno allowed them to pet him gently, staying calm and friendly. Lena felt proud, knowing that her loyal dog could be both protective and gentle. As the sun began to move lower in the sky, Lena and Bruno sat under a large oak tree. She looked at her basket of flowers and smiled. "We had another adventure today, Bruno," she said softly. Bruno lay down beside her, resting his head on her lap.
He gave a contented sigh, happy to be with Lena. Lena thought about the bullies.
She realized that courage was not just about facing fear directly. It was also about staying calm, trusting a loyal friend, and standing firm in the face of challenges. Bruno had shown her that true bravery could be quiet, protective, and steady. She felt proud of herself and grateful for her companion. As they rested, the park returned to its peaceful rhythm. Birds sang, leaves rustled, and the sunlight painted golden patterns on the grass. Lena felt confident that with Bruno by her side, she could face anything. She knew that the bullies would not dare approach her again, because they had learned an important lesson about courage and loyalty. After some time, Lena decided it was time to head home. She carried her basket of flowers carefully while Bruno stayed close beside her. The walk back through the park was calm and peaceful. Lena noticed neighbors tending their gardens, children playing quietly, and the sunlight reflecting off the leaves. Everything felt safe and beautiful. When they reached the street near their home, neighbors smiled and waved at Lena and Bruno. Some had heard about the earlier encounters and admired their bravery. Lena waved back, feeling proud. Bruno walked calmly, alert but relaxed, always ready to protect his best friend. At home, Lena placed her basket of flowers carefully on the table, arranging them neatly. Bruno lay down by the door, resting but alert. Lena smiled at him. "We make a great team, Bruno. You are always there for me," she said softly. Bruno wagged his tail, happy to hear her voice, and rested quietly. That evening, Lena thought about the day's events. She had faced the bullies once again, remained calm, and relied on Bruno's loyalty and protection. She had learned that courage was not always loud or aggressive. Sometimes it was quiet, steady, and full of trust. Bruno had shown her that strength comes in many forms, and together they could overcome any challenge. As Lena went to bed, Bruno curled up at the foot of her bed, alert and loyal. Lena closed her eyes, feeling safe and happy. She knew that tomorrow would bring new adventures, but she was ready for them. With Bruno by her side, she could face anything, and feel confident that no harm would come to her. The morning sun rose gently over Lena's neighborhood. She woke up feeling happy and calm, knowing that yesterday had been an important lesson in courage. Bruno, her loyal German shepherd, was already awake, sitting near her bed and wagging his tail. His eyes were alert, his ears moving with every small sound. Lena smiled at him. "Good morning, Bruno. Are you ready for another day?" she asked softly. Bruno barked once as if answering, "Always ready." After breakfast, Lena put on her shoes and carried her small wicker basket. Today, she wanted to revisit the park one last time for a week of fun and to pick more flowers. Bruno walked closely beside her, alert and ready for anything. Lena felt confident with her loyal companion by her side. The sunlight made the flowers along the streets glow, and the soft breeze carried their sweet fragrance. She took a deep breath, enjoying the peaceful morning. As they reached the park, Lena noticed it was lively. Children were playing on the swings and slides, their laughter filling the air. Birds flew from tree to tree, singing happily. Flowers lined the paths, swaying gently in the morning breeze. Bruno sniffed the ground, his ears moving at every sound. But he stayed close to Lena, ready to protect her if needed. Lena carried her basket carefully as they walked deeper into the park. Today she wanted to explore the flower meadow near the far edge. It was filled with colorful blooms and the sunlight made the petals shine. Bruno stayed alert but relaxed, enjoying the open space and the gentle breeze. Lena smiled, feeling safe and confident. As they walked, Lena noticed something unusual. The park was quieter near the flower meadow. She stopped and looked around. There was no sign of the bullies and the area seemed peaceful. She realized that yesterday had sent a clear message. The bullies had learned that Lena was not alone and that Bruno would protect her without hesitation. Lena felt proud of herself and of her loyal companion. The meadow was more beautiful than Lena had imagined. Red, yellow, blue, and pink flowers covered the ground. Butterflies danced in the sunlight and bees moved from flower to flower. Lena knelt carefully, picking the brightest flowers and arranging them neatly in her basket. Bruno sniffed nearby, alert but calm, enjoying the smells and sounds of nature. Suddenly, a small group of children ran into the meadow. They were curious about the flowers and excited to see Bruno. Lena smiled and waved at them. She shared a few flowers with the children, making them happy. Bruno allowed them to pet him gently, wagging his tail friendly and calm. Lena felt proud, knowing that Bruno could be both protective and kind. As the morning passed, more children joined the meadow. Lena showed them the different types of flowers, explaining their colors and names. The children listened carefully and smiled at Lena, impressed by her knowledge. Bruno stayed close, observing the group and making sure everyone treated the flowers and children gently. Lena realized that the park had become a place of friendship and joy. She thought about how brave she had been and how loyal Bruno had been. Together, they had faced challenges and handled them calmly. She felt proud of the courage she had found within herself and of the trust she shared with Bruno. Suddenly, a soft breeze carried the laughter of the bullies from yesterday. Lena's heart skipped a beat, but she stayed calm. She knew they were watching, but they had not approached the meadow. Bruno's ears perked up and he stood slightly in front of Lena, alert and ready. Lena took a deep breath and smiled. She knew that she had nothing to fear. Bruno's presence gave her confidence and she had learned to stand her ground. The bullies were hesitant. They had watched Lena yesterday and realized that she and Bruno were not easy targets. Seeing the joyful children in the meadow and the calm strength of Lena and Bruno, they decided to stay at a distance. They were learning an important lesson about respect and courage. Lena picked a few more flowers carefully and arranged them in her basket. She noticed the bullies from a distance, but she did not feel afraid. Instead, she felt a quiet sense of victory. Bruno stayed beside her, alert but relaxed, his loyalty and protection giving Lena a sense of safety. As the sun climbed higher in the sky, Lena decided to sit on a large rock in the meadow. She looked at the flowers in her basket and smiled. Bruno lay down beside her, resting his head on her lap. Lena gently stroked his fur, feeling comforted and happy. She whispered softly, "We did it, Bruno. We faced the bullies and we were brave. I am glad you are with me." Bruno wagged his tail, happy to hear her voice, and stayed close, loyal and protective. The children in the meadow played happily, occasionally asking Lena about the flowers or about Bruno. Lena answered them patiently, teaching them about the colors, shapes, and names of the flowers. Bruno remained calm, friendly, and protective, earning the admiration of the children. Lena felt proud that her loyal companion could inspire others with his courage and gentle nature. As the afternoon approached, the park grew quieter. The children left to go home, waving goodbye to Lena and Bruno. Lena packed her basket carefully, making sure all the flowers were safe and neat. Bruno stayed beside her, alert but calm. Lena knew that the day had been a success. They had faced the bullies, enjoyed the park, and shared joy and knowledge with the other children. On the way home, Lena and Bruno walked slowly, enjoying the warm sunlight and the gentle breeze. She looked at Bruno and smiled. "We make a great team," she said softly. Bruno barked once, wagging his tail as if agreeing. Lena felt happy and proud. She realized that courage, loyalty, and friendship were stronger than fear or bullying. She had learned that standing firm, trusting a loyal friend, and staying calm could turn any challenge into a positive experience. When they reached their street, neighbors smiled and waved at Lena and Bruno. Some had heard about the earlier encounters with the bullies and admired their courage. Lena waved back, feeling proud and happy. Bruno walked calmly beside her, alert but relaxed, his loyalty evident in every step. At home, Lena placed her basket of flowers carefully on the table. She arranged them neatly, admiring their bright colors and delicate shapes. Bruno lay down by the door, resting but attentive. Lena smiled at him. "Thank you for being with me, Bruno. You are the best friend anyone could have," she said softly. Bruno wagged his tail gently, happy to be praised, and rested quietly. That evening, Lena thought about all that had happened over the past few days. She remembered the bullies, the challenges, and the moments of fear. But she also remembered the courage she had found, the loyalty of Bruno, and the joy of sharing flowers and knowledge with the children. She realized that bravery did not always mean fighting or being loud. Sometimes it meant staying calm, trusting a friend, and facing challenges with patience and confidence. Bruno had taught her the true meaning of loyalty and protection. Lena had learned that courage could come from within, and that the presence of a loyal companion could make even the scariest moments manageable. Together, they had turned a difficult situation into a story of victory, friendship, and trust. As the stars appeared in the sky, Lena climbed into bed. Bruno curled up at the foot of her bed, alert but peaceful. Lena smiled, feeling safe and happy. She knew that tomorrow would bring new adventures, but she felt ready for them. With Bruno by her side, she could face anything. She had learned that courage, loyalty, and friendship were the strongest forces in the world. The house was quiet, filled with the soft glow of the evening light. Lena closed her eyes, feeling proud of herself and grateful for Bruno's unwavering loyalty. She knew that their bond would last forever, and that together they could overcome any challenge. Bruno rested quietly, happy to be with Lena, loyal and brave as always. Lena drifted into sleep with a smile, knowing that she and Bruno had turned their days of fear into days of bravery, joy, and friendship. Tomorrow would bring new adventures, but she felt confident and safe. Together, she and Bruno were unstoppable. They had learned that courage was not just strength or size, but trust, loyalty, and calmness in the face of any challenge. The next morning, the sun rose again, casting golden light over the neighborhood. Lena woke up, ready to face another day with Bruno by her side. She knew that no matter what happened, they would face it together. With courage in her heart and loyalty at her side, Lena was ready for anything. Bruno wagged his tail, happy to be by her side. Together, they were more than friends. They were a team, brave, loyal, and unstoppable.